The great Scotsman.
Here he is.
Here he is.
Here he
Here
is.
he is. Are you good?
Good, thank you. It's Wednesday afternoon. The week's been very fast, but it's good.
Does it go fast?
I think it goes very fast, yes.
Faster now in your current role?
I think it's because we're always, and I've been thinking about this a lot, like why does time seem to pass so fast? I think it's because we're always looking forward. We've always got so much stuff in the diary. We've always got events. We've always got stuff coming up. So we're always like forward thinking. And sometimes that then takes us out the present moment and we forget to enjoy the right now because we're constantly thinking, right, we've got that event coming up next week, or we're going to White City, X, Y, and Z. I think that's not just with myself, but I know this is it's like a common conversation you have with people, right? It's like they just feel that it's just constantly go, go, go.
Yeah. Think that's a cultural thing, or do you think it's an industry thing?
I think it's a worldwide thing. I think we all just live so fast.
What's what are some things you do to combat that? I guess I'm just pulling on that thread because I guess you
Mm.
mentioning that as you said, you've been thinking about that a lot lately.
Mhm.
From my experience, that came with age and life experience, right? To notice that, fuck me, another year's gone, for instance. Like, what on earth?
Mm.
I was thinking that the other day. I was thinking, because after Christmas last year, I thought, took me ages to pin up my little sparkling lights that went round our bay
Mm.
window. And I did it, when you just get it just right. So I was
Yeah.
like, ooh, do I take them down? But they're black, right? So you can't really
Right.
see them. Or
Mhm.
do I leave them up till next year? Anyway, it's got to the point now where it's what, 2 months out from them
I
being
mean,
switched
yes,
on again.
1st of October, yeah.
Fuck, it's madness. I'm like, shit,
It's
I'm gonna
crazy.
leave them up then. I
Yeah.
guess I'll leave them up. But yeah, so with that in mind, with the speed at which time can pass us by if we're
Mm.
dragged out of the here and now, what are some things that you do to combat that?
I mean, I've tried many things. I think things that help me is definitely like the journaling thing, like the reflection piece.
Mm,
So I do it like I would love to do it on a daily basis, but just sometimes I don't do it on a daily basis. But I like to do it at least once a week
mm.
and just reflect on the week and how it's been and like everything that I've done. And I think that helps anchor me in the present and what I've done in the previous week or the past couple of days or the past couple of hours, wherever it's been, it just helps me. It gives me that anchor, that center to be like, oh, like look at all this cool stuff we've done. Because I think we forget about the cool stuff that we've done. And as I said, we're always just thinking about the future, right?
Mm. What sort of stuff do you put in there?
With my reflection pieces.
Yeah, I
So
don't
we just
want
be like,
not the
yeah,
detail, but where do you draw
yeah,
your
yeah. Like
inspiration from?
I guess I don't have, I used to like have like specific structures. Now it's just like how did the week go? Like how was it? Like how are you feeling now? And I think often when you ask yourself like how are you feeling now, that then starts to uncover and you start to dig a bit deeper to why you're feeling the way you are now because everything that's happened during the week or if everything that's happened during that day, as an
Interesting.
example.
Yeah, that's really nice. That's really nice. You say that's not always been the case?
Not always been the case. I think I've tried to have a bit more structure around it.
Yeah,
But I think like I've moved past the structure and it just it keeps it simple and it keeps it open instead of it being too structured where I feel like I end up boxing myself in with too much structure.
I can feel a metaphor coming on. Would
Mm.
you say that the structure enabled you to get to the freedom?
Yeah.
You know
Which
where
is
I'm going with
yeah,
it.
I mean, yeah, it is crazy. Like I needed the structure obviously in the beginning, but then I've got to a stage where I think that I've not done the work. That's not the word that I'm looking for, but it's like I've put in the reps to now have a better understanding and be able to actually just check in with myself and
Nice.
understand like why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling, etc.
And I guess then you mentioned there's not, whilst you would like to do it daily, I guess there's not the need or the necessity to do it daily. I would guess though that when you do it now, it's a more meaningful practice.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, yeah, lovely, lovely. Um, so thanks for setting me up there with that metaphor. But taking that then, just speaking to I guess your journey through your coaching career, your coaching pathway, um, ours is similar, right?
Mm.
Through CrossFit and then into the structure of OPEX and what have you, and then to where we both find ourselves now. Um, Talk me through that a little bit. How's that been for you? How's that pathway been for you? As in a similar way to what you just described there with your journaling.
Yeah, I think it's when I get into fitness, it was through the methodology of CrossFit. So it was very much like you're not there's like specific things that need to be taken right. You're looking for specific things with your cues, etc. Then it moved into like OPEX, where it was like, I love this so much, but I want to dive a bit more into like one-to-one personal training.
Mm,
And I felt like I was lacking the knowledge. I felt like I was always able to like connect with people pretty good. Like I feel like I'm pretty good at like building a rapport with people. Where I was struggling, where I lacked the knowledge, was like the understanding of the programming and understanding the why behind it. Like, why are we programming certain things? So that's why I dived into like OPEX, to really get that knowledge and the understanding and to have that structure.
mm,
And that's now allowed me to get into a place where, having had that structure and put in the reps, I just feel a lot more comfortable with my style of coaching, because I've got the best of both worlds now. I understand why we're doing what we're doing, and I'm able to build really good relationships. And I think that's what's allowed me to become the coach who I am today.
love it. How do you balance that? How do you balance that? Um, I'll say this because it's what Paddy and I spoke to, the art and science.
Mhm. Mhm. I think having the right people around me, like, to go and ask questions and know that it's not it's not this or that. It's this and that.
Mm,
Right. And that's a concept that, when I first understood that concept, it helped me so much, not just in coaching, but just in life. Like, it's never just one thing. And I think, and I used to get caught up, it is just the one thing, right? Because that's the easiest thing to do. It's like, it's very polarizing. That's what social media is, etc. People always gravitate to, it's this or that.
mm.
But actually, we've all got a common ground between the art and the science and the world and whatever we want to talk about. There's always a common ground, and it's just understanding that both worlds can live in unison, really.
Indeed. Which so you mentioned that you're pulled more towards the connection piece naturally. So I guess then the questions that you ask of the people around you, I'm putting words in your mouth here, but
Mhm.
are more of
Mhm.
the other side. Would that be fair?
Not so much. I think like having like the both sides of the coin, and having people to challenge me on what I believe, challenge my beliefs, like challenge my biases, challenge why I want to do things a certain way. And I think with that challenge, you can then start to understand, oh, that what they're saying actually can work alongside what I'm saying.
Mm,
And not having people like where it's like we're button heads. That's not what it is. It's the challenge and the support piece.
yeah, nice. It takes a certain open-mindedness to
Mm.
even enter into that
Yeah.
scenario, though, right? Um,
And that definitely wasn't me, like younger me and like growing up and getting into coaching. I was definitely not like that,
I was just going
because
to
I
ask
didn't
that.
know. I didn't know, right?
So have you learned that, or is that just something that's evolved quite naturally for you?
I think it was like, when I get into fitness, it was very much like I was doing it to help people because it helped me. So what I was doing, I was trying to help other people the same way. So if I was doing something, you were going to do something.
Okay.
Just because I didn't know, I just knew what helped me, and I didn't have the knowledge and understanding to all these other things that work. And that came with just having more skin in the game, and
Mm.
just being surrounded by people that are way better than me. I think I've been very lucky in my coaching career, and just throughout life. I've always been able to surround myself with people that are just a lot smarter, and they've always been able to help me, which has been cool. Like, even like in school and all the other things that I've done previous to coaching, people have always just been very kind to me, and it's paid off.
Um, it's interesting how you describe and you say that's lucky. Um, I guess through my life experience and again with age, yeah, it's funny how you start to see things differently. Um, And rather than it being luck, then I think it's one of your gifts that you attract that, right? And I think that I personally think that it's that same gift that enables you very naturally and instinctively to be able to connect with people, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
So it's almost like it's a magnetic feature that you have, right? You must sense that.
I mean, I think what I think about a lot is that like whatever energy you're going to put out is going to come back. Like it's that
Yeah.
basic principle, right? So whatever, and that's like we can go all woo woo and talk about karma and all that, but it's like just be a good person. Like treat others how you want to be treated. Like that's one of my values and principles that I live by, and it's served me well up until this point.
Yeah, and I would agree. I think it goes deeper than that, though. I think it's something that's in you, and yeah, let's not
Yeah.
get too deep into it. But
Mm.
I do believe that. I think that, you can see and sense that in people, right? Um, a lot of people that we work with and um, have the fortune, I'll say it the same as you, of working alongside and having there as our challengers and supporters and all the rest of it. They're the same, and I guess it's no. When you think of how it all plays out, it's not a surprise because of the time that then they have in the industry. Because if they weren't like that, this thing wouldn't fit, and they wouldn't
Mm.
be here for as long as they are. Um, so I think it is a natural talent of a lot of people that we find in our space for a prolonged period of time.
Mm.
That
Yeah.
magnetic nature, that ability to connect. Um, do you stop and think about that much? As in, what is it that makes this person in front of me feel seen, feel safe, feel comfortable, at ease? Do you ever think that as like what, to reverse engineer it, or do you just be?
Um, it's a really good question. I think I have definitely thought about it. I think it's the listening piece is huge for most people, right? Like most people, when they come to the gym, most people's problems, like they just want to be heard, right? And people actually don't have that space in their life to actually be heard,
Mm,
right? So you then coming in and just offering, I'm going to use the word safe space. I hate that thing, right? But it's like just setting an environment where people can come in and just have a conversation
mm,
and not being like, I need to help this person. I think I've definitely fell into that trap before, but it's like I need to offer a solution. Like they're giving me a problem, like the coach in you, you're like, okay, give them a nice prescription here. It's like a lot of people don't even need that. It's like they're just saying their problems, and them saying their problems out loud then helps them. They're like, oh, I've just said this thing out loud. I've now came to my own conclusion. I know what I need to do, and then they'll just bounce the idea off you. Sweet, cool. Like you don't even need to do that much. It's literally just listening.
yeah, brilliant.
And I think like previous coach me would have been that's not how I would have coached. I would have been listening and already preempting my answer. Like, oh, I know what this person needs. They need a bit more protein. Okay, I'm going to give it to them. I'm going to give it to them now. And just like you get to a stage where it's like just listen to the person and they're going to come up with a solution themselves.
How did you learn that? Was it a specific thing or teacher, or was it experience?
I think just personal experience, to be honest. Like going through like difficult times in my life and like having people just to like talk to and like they were just there and it was like me
Mm,
trying to pinpoint how did that person help me. They didn't do that much, they were just there and they just listened.
how powerful is that?
So
Our own
good.
per our own personal experience, and I think you know, new coaches, young coaches, whatever we want to call them, they'll always ask, how can I, how can I progress? How can I get better, quickly, and so on and so forth. Um, one of the biggest things, one of the biggest, I guess, upgrades in a coach's career for me is being coached by a bloody good coach. So you have that experience of being listened to, of having
Yeah.
space created, of recognizing that, oh shit, I've just come off a 30-minute call with my coach. They didn't say more than a couple of sentences, and I've got so much from that, right? And we've all been in that, and so I think that being, yeah, it's such a good point. Our own personal experience being the lesson. Are you somebody that sees that and recognizes that straight away, and is almost able to process that in your own mind to upgrade your inner system? Or does it then take you, is that the sort of stuff that you would put into your journal and say this was interesting this week or this was interesting today, and sort of organize your thoughts I guess in another step?
I think it's like a hybrid between them both. I
Okay.
think it's like the more that happens, you start to connect the dots. And you're like, it happened once and that happened twice. Okay, three times, right? There's what's going on there. Let me dive a bit deeper. And
Mm,
just I think it just comes back to how we started that conversation off. It's just like having a bit more presence throughout whatever you're doing in life. Just like take a step back, breathe, and it's like, what's actually going on here?
mm, yeah, yeah. I once heard it described why, I mean, we've already mentioned it, why time feels like it goes faster as we get older. But the interesting thing, I can't remember if it was Jordan Peterson or not. It might have been on a Jordan Peterson podcast with somebody else. Anyway, whoever it was, they talked about the child and the fact that a year feels so big and enormous as a child because they're so present.
Mm.
So they notice everything. And of course, then there's the logistics around, well, they've only been here for 3 years, so another year is almost like a quarter of their existence and so on. And so there's that.
Yeah.
But time goes so slowly as a child, more so because of how present they are. So then the challenge in that conversation was, can we be more present and therefore feel like we're slowing down time? And the analogy they gave was, when I was a child, I knew everything about my street and my block. I knew the colours of each door. I knew the bushes. I knew which dog was going to bark. I knew the size of the curb to kick the ball again. All the things. And I thought, shit, yeah, you do, right? You know that. You know where the ramp is for your bikes, and what's the good one and what's the bad one, and all the rest of it. The lines on the road that are going to nobble your skateboard as you go over it, and the one you know it all.
Mhm.
But as adults, then, if I think, when my missus says, "Can you just nip this to number 21?" and I'm like, "Who lives at number 21?" I can't. It's gone, right? I don't.
Yeah, it's gone.
We don't pay
Mm.
attention. We don't because
Mm.
I guess we're busied with bigger things, or what seem like bigger things. But I just thought that was a real interesting analogy with the child's view and the grown up view, the standard grown up view.
So something I love that because something that we were talking about recently at the gym was this concept that when we go home or we're walking to and from the gym, it's like generally speaking, I'll put my headphones in and I'm sending a message. And it's like we were challenging each other to not do that. And it's like, let's take our headphones out, let's put the phone away and just like notice things that you've not noticed before. And it's crazy the amount of stuff that you start seeing, right? I know there's another trend online where it's like if you're out on a walk with another person, you pick one color, so say that color's like green, and it's like you've got to try and spot as many green things as you can spot, and that just helps center you, right? Just brings a bit more
Ah,
presence to what you're doing. Crazy.
absolutely. Yeah. I smile then because that's going for a walk with the boys.
Yeah, yeah,
Because that's
exactly.
what they
They're just
that's
like,
what they do.
wow.
That's
Yeah,
what they do.
literally.
They literally say, they'll play I Spy, and because they don't know
Mm,
words yet, they do colors. So it's like I
yeah.
spy something the color of green. So then
Mm,
you're into that game, right? And it
that's
just makes
so
you
good.
very present. It's very cool. Interesting as well, just back to the OPEX thing, that was a big prescription for OPEX, especially on
Mm,
active recovery or rest days, was an unplugged walk in nature.
unplugged, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
Um, and at the time then, as a younger, you know, uh, person who was trying to be athletic and be an athlete and what have you, was like, unplugged, what the fuck? I want to
yeah,
quieten the noise.
yeah.
um, but it keep coming up. You explore that
Mm,
and you see the beauty in it.
yeah,
And it's funny now when we go out on the bikes, I get a piss taken out of me because of the things that I notice.
yeah,
I'm like, whoa, have you seen that? Check that bird
yeah,
out. Or,
yeah.
can you smell it? And so on and so forth. Like, what are you on
Mm,
about? They're all younger than me, of
yeah,
course.
yeah.
Um, yeah, interesting. Interesting. Off the back of that, then, what do you what do you think people most misunderstand most about, I guess, coaching and the human condition?
Mm.
I know that's a big question.
It's a big one. It's good. I
I,
like it.
so where I've gone with that is just thinking about the presence and
Yeah.
the importance of it, and then I guess what we tend to see in the industry, which is the other end of the spectrum, right? So just to set the stage.
Yeah, I think it's just being able to have that presence or that noticing, like going into like consultations or going onto the gym floor and not having like take everything that you're thinking about right now, just put it to the side and literally just notice. And I think like that's what a lot of coaches struggle with, right? Even just like movement quality or like someone's not they actually don't see it because they're not able to actually just like give themselves a bit of presence within that 60 minutes class or within an initial consultation. Like just chill out and just try and think, just listen or just see. Like try and compute what you're seeing and then try and fix it. I think a lot of people go into consultations and stuff, and this was I'll put my hand up. I used to do this all the time with those like I've got the answer already. I know what this person needs. Like they've walked through the door and I've already judged,
Mm.
right? It's like, it's so easy to do, right? It's like the person comes through the door, they're a bit overweight. It's like, oh, I just want to start training a couple of times, right? Bang. I already know what I'm going to say. It's like, no, just chill out, like dig a bit deeper because there's more to uncover.
Yeah, yeah, lovely, lovely. I would agree. I would agree. I think we've done it. I know we have.
Mm,
We get lost in the design, right? And it's with best intention, I think, but then we forget why we're doing the design.
mm,
So we get it all, then we end up with it all about face. Stuart McMillan put a great post on the other day about triple extension, and it's something that I've always thought about, but he articulated it really nicely. He was relating it to sprinting. I put a comment on just relating to Olympic weightlifting, which was the same really,
mm,
and it was the fact that um, in these sports now, in the coaching of these sports, there's a focus on the thing that the coach has created
mm,
rather than the thing.
mm.
So we forget why we're doing it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, so in that instance, we've come up with this term triple extension so that we can create a nice, pretty picture around what we see, right? So we've reverse engineered reality so that we can put words to what we see and then try and coach somebody towards it. So now we're trying to coach these people towards triple extension. But in doing so, we lose track of the thought that what we're describing as triple extension is a super complex system. And it's a chain of events that happens through the body as a ripple effect from an extension of the hips in order
Mm,
to create propulsion forward, right?
mm,
Or up, whatever the case may be. Meanwhile, we're into, but what about the ankle? And what about the knee? And what comes first, the knee or the hip and all the rest of it? It's like,
mm, mm,
just
mm.
fucking jump or just settle
Yeah.
forward, right? And we forget that thing. And I think that's
Mm,
what we do in coaching. I think that's the mistake that we make in coaching. You and I have made in coaching. I think everybody has to make in coaching in order to come through the other side is to get so far into the weeds of program design to forget why you're doing it in the first place. Um, and at that point, then the design comes first. We're not present, right? We're
mm,
thinking about what you just said before. We're thinking about future. We're thinking about eight,
mm,
12 weeks in time. We're not thinking about what does a client need right now.
mm. Yeah.
And I think that that's the nature of some of the great posts that you're putting out on Monday, isn't it? Around that attention
Mm.
piece and paying attention.
And I think we get married to stuff too easy as a coach. Because again, that's when we get married to something, that's where we feel comfort, right? That's our comfort zone. Going back to like the this or that, it's like,
Mm,
oh no, no, it has to be this. Well, it doesn't have to be that. And that took me like a good couple of years to understand. Like, I don't know, this is one of the chats that we used to have on our CPD Mondays. We used to talk about like the exercise itself. It's like the exercise doesn't actually matter that much,
mm,
right? It's like you've got an idea, but it's like, what's the stimulus that we're trying to get?
mm,
And it was like once I understood that, it was like a penny drop. It's like that just makes so much sense. And you would, as a coach over time, you would naturally change the movement anyway. But just like hearing that someone else say that, I was like, oh, that just makes sense. Like the exercise doesn't matter. But we've become so married, myself included, to like the progression, to the single leg, to the double leg, to the single arm, to the double arm. And it has to be 45 degrees, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't. It's just like, what does the person need right now? And I
absolutely.
think that took me years to understand for
Why do you
sure.
think? Why do you think it takes time to understand that? What's your thoughts on that?
I think because we've got knowledge in that specific thing, whether that be program design, exercise selection, that's where we feel the most comfortable. And that's where we're like, oh, this is where I can like share my piece. This is where I can help people, like through this specific exercise. Yes, to some extent, but where you can help most people is just like understanding where they're currently at, where they need to go, and what they need now. That's how you
Mm.
can help them.
What is it, do you think that, so that being why we lead towards the certainty, what is it, what is it about the other side then? Why don't we go there?
As a coach,
Mm,
I think it's just where it's the whole comfort piece. That's
yeah,
where
yeah,
we feel safe in what we've prescribed, and we don't want to step out of that because I've said this thing's really good for you, so you now need to do that.
yeah, yeah.
And you might think as a coach, like you might think like if you're like changing the exercise, you might be thinking that client in front of you now thinks that you don't know what you're doing because you've now changed the exercise because we're now doing something different to what's on the board. So then there's then that piece of like fear of judgment. Like this person's going to think that I don't know what I'm doing. They have to do that,
Yep.
right?
Yep. Yep. Brilliant. I agree. I agree. I think it is that. I think it's the. I think I've literally just put a post on about it,
Mm,
and he changed it. Cheryl's quote of "get
mm,
comfortable with the uncomfortable," which,
mm,
funnily enough, I know at the time was related to CrossFit and
mm.
being a CrossFit athlete. Like you need, but it has deeper philosophical ripples. This being one of them, where as coaches we need to get comfortable with the uncomfortable, and the uncomfortable is then delving into the unknown. So it's asking a question about something exactly what you just talk about there. It's asking a question about the subjective that we don't know what the answer is going to be, nor do we know then what we're going to do with it.
Well, I
But
think that's yeah, yeah,
what that
100%. You go, yeah,
what that's going to do is that's going to ground us both in the present moment. But that's risky and vulnerable, eh?
it's risky. That was the word exactly what I was going to say. That's what is it, Brené Brown? That's
Mm,
her definition of vulnerability. When you turn up and you don't know what the answer is, and you put yourself out there, that's being
yeah,
vulnerable
yeah,
because you don't know what lies on the other side,
yeah,
and that's hard to do. It's very hard to do, and it takes time, and it takes fucking it up, right, and getting
yeah,
it
yeah,
wrong. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
I think it's hard for a period of time.
mm.
Then I do think that the more you do it, the more you realize that this is just reality. And so it's not necessarily because I think it feels hard when the ego's still pulling you the other way and going, you need to find some answers in there. So I know you don't know, but there's some shit you need to find out. Whereas when you let go of that ego and you just go,
Mm.
well, let's just go and explore.
Yeah.
There's no pressure on either of us.
Mm.
So then how are you feeling? Cool. Do you want to talk about that? Should we try some things like or into the movement stuff? What about if we try this? What about if we try that? And then because then each step of that exploration, despite the fact that we don't know where it's going to take us, it's taking us somewhere. So we've made a move. So we've made a move to my post today
Mm.
into the uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
And in doing so, then we learn whether that's through a refinement of skill or if it's a redirection is required. Um,
I,
and so and
I,
so
I,
and so, that,
yeah.
so sorry, mate. Sorry. And then
Uh,
so then as back to it being hard, then I think at some point in time it then becomes fun.
100%. And I think that's what I'm trying to do in my current role with the team that I manage. And I think I've definitely had a shift. If you had to ask me 3 years ago, like, what does success look like for you as a coach? I'd be like, oh, I just want to go out there and help people. I just literally want to like help people get stronger, get fitter, like just live a better life. Now the role that I've moved into now, that's still part of what I deem successful. But I've now got this other element where I'm now leading and managing other people. And I just want the best for them. That's all I want. And I think like being able to create that environment as a team and as a leader where people feel safe enough to go out there and explore and make mistakes I think that's something that I've been working hard on, and I know that's the culture that we're setting within the gyms. But to your point of being able to go out there and actually explore, it does take, in my opinion, within a group environment, it takes the right sort of people around you that have shared before, that have been vulnerable, that have fucked up, that have made mistakes. Like I'm head coach there. I make mistakes all the time. I'm not perfect, and I think coaches and head coaches get caught up in that fact where it's like, oh, I need to be perfect. I
Mm.
can't fuck up. And if I do fuck up, I'm never going to tell anyone. Like it's fine. Like everyone makes mistakes, and your ability to then share shows that vulnerability piece, then shows your team that everyone makes mistakes and it's okay for them to make mistakes. As long as we have a conversation about the mistake and we try and figure out why we made the mistake so it doesn't happen again.
Yep,
Right.
yep, yep. How are you finding it?
I love it. I do. Like I genuinely like it's something that I have been reflecting on again over the past couple of months of just the stage that I'm in now. And I do get to it's just coaching. It really is. It's like understanding where where the person wants to go. Like, what is it you actually want to achieve within your career? Where do you want to go? How much money do you want to make? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, if we can understand that, okay, where are you currently? This is the gap. It's literally coaching. That's what
Mm.
it is. It's okay, what skills do we need right now to plug that gap to then push you into your next stage? Like I want them to become their own leaders in their own right. Like that's the goal.
Lovely, lovely. So leadership is coaching.
Yeah. And it's so funny. It's so funny.
Did you know that going in?
I guess I did to some extent, but it's not until again, like I actually sat down, I was like, this is literally coaching. And it's like the thing, it's like if where you then start to struggle is when the person doesn't they don't know what they want to be doing. So
Mm,
that's also a common thing within in the coaching realm, right? Some people find it harder to work with people that, oh, I kind of want to do this thing, but I'm okay, but I'm not quite sure. The easier quote unquote people to work with is people that understand what the goal is, right? That's the easy thing as a coach. Someone comes to you and says, right, I've got this goal. You dig into why they've got the goal. They've got the strong why. Okay, cool. We're now set. We've got that North Star. Let's work towards it.
mm,
As a coach, when people come to you and you say, oh yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing, kind of just here, it's kind of fun. That's harder as a coach. Then we've really got to dig deeper and set micro goals, etc. And that's exactly the same as what you do with leading a team.
yeah,
There's going to be some people that come on the team and is like, I know where I want to go. This is what I want to do. And there's going to be other people within the team that's like, kind of just happy right now. It's all good. Right, sweet. How can I support you?
yeah, yeah. In the same way that I guess you add order to those that have less order around their vision. Um, do you go any way to remove order from those that are particularly ordered and structured and rigid in the way that they're approaching things?
Mhm. I think it's like digging deeper to why they want what they want.
Mm,
Because similar to coaching, right? People are going to come to you and it's like, oh, I've got this goal. Well, why do you have this goal? Oh, because the other person's got that goal. And I just thought I may as well do that goal. But until you start probing and asking why, and then for some people, that might not actually be the goal. That might not be the path that they want. Once you start laying out, okay, you want to go here, you're here right now. This is what you need to be doing. Oh, actually, I'm out. I don't think I'm going to do that. And there's nothing wrong with that. Again, it's not a right or a wrong, right? It's just like
mm,
trying to peel back the layers for people to understand.
yeah, yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Because the amount of time that we've been training, I can speak for myself, not for you, but um, I've got to the point where training just is a thing that exists in my life. It's a non-negotiable in the week. How often I do it is dictated by other priorities, but I'm always going to do it. I'm always going to challenge my body in some way, shape, or form. I have no goals in my training, and I guess at some point that kind of has to be the case, right? Otherwise, we're always going to run out of things to do. So then it's like, then what? And especially when you get to my age and
You're
numbers and
limited.
what have you, yeah, right. Numbers and things start drifting a little, shall we
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
It's like if you're clinging to particular goals beyond
Mm.
some higher order goals of like, well, I just want to be my strongest self. And you can imagine that a lot of my goals relate to my existence in my family, right?
Yeah.
Kind of battle with the boys
Mm.
and and kind of pick them up and all that
Mm.
stuff. Run after them and run them with that's my aim to be able to do that easily.
Mm.
That's my aim. But then we have people who come in to fitness who perhaps are already there
Mm.
and they haven't got a goal, but the fitness industry goes some way, doesn't it, to injecting goals no matter what. But that's difficult because, again, back to what we were talking about before with the coaching, I think in some ways that is the coach's injection in order to make their life easier. Because it's like, well, if you give me some goals, I can create some order around
Mm.
a pathway towards them. Whereas if you're just telling me that you want to show up every day, it's like, ooh,
Mm.
that's risky for me. Because because how do I keep you
Mm.
engaged? What's meaningful to you? And to the point, you have to ask deeper questions, right? Because not everybody's going to turn up with that mindset of I want this in my back squat, I want to do this many pull-ups, I want to go and do, this event and so on and so forth. You must get that at Stratford.
It's tough. And it's like going back to like the building of the gym and the growing of the gym. It's like we use this term at March On. It's like how do we get people sticky? Like how do we get them bought in? Right. And it's like when people come and they do the turf games and they do the high roxies, that helps them get very sticky.
Mm.
Why? Because they now start to see progress, and in that progress, they start creating the relationships and the friendships, and that's why they come back to the gym. For the people that just turn up and they're just just kind of be, and it's kind of cool, and it's like I'm doing this thing. We're not saying that's a bad goal. That's a great goal. But I think where the misalignment piece is from the coach's standpoint, where they don't actually first figure out what the goal is. As in, if the goal is just to be, okay, sweet, cool. We now understand that. How can I support you? Like, what can I do? How do you need help? Like, is it nutrition? Do you need a bit more education here? Can we keep you a bit more accountable? Whatever it is, there's multiple things that we can be doing. But the misalignment piece is where the person saying, hey, I just want to be, but the coach then comes in and interjects and puts their bias on, you should do turf, you should do high rocks.
Mm.
And that's the misalignment piece, I guess.
Yep. Yep. The question that just pops up in my mind then that relates to both that scenario and then your higher coaching role of coaching
Mm.
coaches, your leadership role. How do you lead? How do you coach without control?
How do I lead without control? Frame it in another way for me.
Um, so the turf games being the case.
Mm.
So the
Hmm.
turf games injected into the person that just wants to being the
Mm.
control element to help the coach direct them in a way that they know, right? So it gives
Mm.
them certainty. I know how to get you there. So if you could do this, I
Hmm.
know that you're going to, you'll probably enjoy it, and so on and so forth.
Mm.
Same with the leadership, I guess. And I'm not saying you do this, but the same analogy would be directing a coach to a certain end.
Mm.
That the leader already knows how to get somebody there, as opposed to saying, "What do you want out of this? Where do you want to go? What does this mean to you?"
Yeah, I think that comes from everything that we've talked about prior in terms of that listening piece.
Mm,
Like the issue actually stems from the coach not listening or the leader not listening. They're injecting their bias. They're injecting, oh, this is what I've done, so you're going to do it. It's like, what, just literally ask the question, like, what's your ideal? What does success look like for you? And I can guarantee if you start probing with those questions, you might get the odd person where you have to keep digging. But it's like there's nothing wrong with just being, right? I'm happy. I'm currently happy right now. I don't need the pressure of always trying to progress, right? I think we fall into that trap. I always have to be moving forward. yes, to some extent, we always want to be growing, but we also, growth can be you just being really present right now and really fucking happy. Whatever you're doing in your role, whether that be coaching on the floor, whether that be you're the client coming in and doing your 3 sessions a week, getting high fives, leaving with a sweat and a smile on your face and grabbing a shake. Sweet, cool. If that's your ideal, let's do it. Right. And same goes to the person that you're managing, the same goes to the person that you're leading. It's like, are you happy right now? Yeah, Liam, I'm fucking loving this. This is really good. I feel challenged. I feel supported. I'm having a good time. Okay, sweet. Let's continue. But if you do want to go and you want to progress, know that I'll be there and I'll help you.
Yeah, brilliant.
And I think like putting the onus on them to how we do it, we should do it with our clients. It's like we're not there to hold hands. And this is what happens with like younger coaches, myself included. You feel the need to hold the hand because you're scared they're going to leave.
Yeah.
It's actually like this is a collaboration. It's a two-way street. You're going to help me as much as I can help you, right? But if you've got a goal that you want, reach out.
Mm. Yeah. I think that responsibility piece then becomes super empowering, right?
Yeah.
I think it's also an eye opener for a lot of clients, perhaps not coaches, maybe coaches as well, who come in with certain expectations around being employed in the industry, right? It's like, well,
Mhm.
I just turn up for work and so on and so forth. But as the old adage goes, you only get out what you put in. And so then, that increased awareness then for whether it be the coach or the client, I think it's a key piece in that, oh shit, this is my responsibility. That's where the accountability term used in our industry today always prangs with me because accountability for me is outsourced responsibility. And I think that can be a downward spiral towards dependency, right? Um,
100%.
I know what people mean, and I think it comes from a good place, but I don't think it's overly useful. And I think accountability is one of those um, program design pieces for the coach. And I use program design just as, the tool that we use in order to create a bit of certainty into our mind. So if we're holding them to account, if we're asking the right questions, then we're happy that we've done a good job, whether or not we've truly connected with the person in front of us. But we've lost track of the fact that the important thing is connecting to the person in front of us.
I think where the accountability piece goes wrong is that if you need someone to be texting you every day, calling you every day, like insert whatever that accountability piece is. If you need someone and you're an adult, right? And it's like you're saying you want to achieve this goal. You want to lose X, you want to do X, Y, and Z, right? If you need someone to be checking in with you on a daily basis, I would challenge you to say that you don't actually want that goal. It's like you're just
Mm,
saying you want the thing, because if you're an adult and you need someone to message you every single day to be like, hi, how much protein should I be eating? X, Y, and Z. It's like, as a coach, you've definitely got to give them the knowledge and the tools to be able to go and do the thing. But that's where it falls short. And it's like, if you're having to do all these things, I would argue that they actually don't want that goal that they're saying that they want.
yeah, yeah, I agree. It's the same with exercise selection, right? If you're having to cue the shit out of a particular exercise, it's probably not the right one.
And have fell into that trap as a younger coach. You're literally there for about half an hour, the beads of sweat are pouring you down. You're like, okay, let me try this one, let me try this one. The client's like, what the hell is going on? No idea anymore. And you're still like obsessed about the front rack. Like,
Yeah,
do they need to be in a front rack? Probably not. What's the goal? Do you want to squat? Want to get stronger legs? Okay, goblet, let's go.
yeah,
Right? Simple.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Again, that's the feedback loop, though, right? So back to the exploration piece. It's not a problem. It's actually a lesson learned. It's a win. Um, in that sense, that would be a nudge that we're veering in the wrong direction. That being, if you, as the coach, so for those who are listening on, if you're with a client and you're continuing to have to chat through an exercise or racking your brains for another cue, that the way that you can describe, you've used all your ace cards for all your cues and it's still not landing. The problem isn't your cue, it's the exercise,
Mm,
likely. Or to your broader point, the challenge
mm,
that they're pursuing. It's probably not the right thing.
mm,
Um, so that fine balance, between going through the struggle.
mm,
And again, if we liken this to movement, I remember helping a young coach who was actually trained. She was coaching. She started coaching in the gym that I was training at the time, and her client was doing dumbbell bench, and she progressed her from um, I think the machine, so it was like a hammer strength plate loaded machine, and
mm,
then she'd gone to dumbbell bench. She'd never done it before. Very light dumbbells, and so we know how that would look. That both arms were
mm,
shaking all over the show, and what have you. And she came and grabbed me quick as in the rest period, and she said, "Mass, what am I doing wrong?" I said, "Nothing. How long? How many times have you done this? This is the first time today. Sweet.
mm,
Let her practice, right? Let them struggle." And so
mm.
there's that balance, right, between trying to correct things
Yeah,
immediately and letting them find their way.
yeah,
Again, that's risky though for the coach, right?
mm,
Because it's like, oh, something could go wrong. They could hurt
mm,
themselves. But if we got the exercise right, if we thought about the tempo,
yeah,
right? So the cadence at which they approach the challenge and,
mm,
and what their expectations are. And again, I'm using this as a metaphor for the broader piece.
yeah,
Um, there are things that we can do to guide them through
yeah.
those scenarios, right? But at some point they've got to feel it themselves.
100%. And I think it's what we always say at March On is like, is the person moving safely? Right? It's like if they're moving safely and like movement quality is not there yet, it's fine. Just let them be. They have, how are they going to get to making that rep, every single rep from 1 to 10 look the same? They're going to have to do a shit ton of reps in order to
Yeah,
get to that space, right?
yeah,
But like coaches will like that scenario gave there. It's like they see the dodgy rep and oh my God, need to change it. It's like
yeah.
they can't really fuck their shit up on a dumbbell bench press.
No,
Like it's not as if they're loaded up with 70 kg dumbbells and their arms are shaking. Then we might have a problem. Then that might be unsafe. But
yeah,
let's be honest, like if they're back supported, they've done a couple of reps before, like just let them be. And I
yeah,
think as a coach, it's going back to the what we talked about before with you wanting to fix and you wanting to solve the problem straight away. You don't have to literally just let it be. Whether that you be like watching movement or just listening to a person, just let it play out without trying to fix it straight away.
yeah. Lovely. How has it? How has your definition of success changed over the last few years?
I think I alluded to it before with the piece where it was just like I was just a coach, just solely delivering fitness and helping people, to now managing other people and other coaches. I think that's definitely has its part to play. I think the journey that I've had as well, it was always very much one to one. So my like even when I was in my previous role at Hong Kong, so I was in Dubai before, obviously, that was group class. I then found PT and I was like, I actually just love PT. Why? Because I can connect with the person more. I feel like I can have more impact. Then went to Hong Kong and my journey there was I was still coaching group class, but I was predominantly just on one. And that's what I loved. That's what I thrived in. But then coming to March On, where no one-to-one personal training at all, and it's just large group. And it was like, what was it that I found so fulfilling from one to one? It was the connection piece. So now going into the role that I'm in now, that's why I place such an emphasis within. I know we do it across the whole March On all the sites, but especially at Stratford, it's like let's just build really good relationships with people.
Mm.
You know, like let's like from when the person walks through the door, are they getting greeted? Are they getting high five? Do you know the name? Like these small, simple things, and I think that's what I deem success now. And it's like when I walk into the gym and everyone's hanging out, and it's like, yes, we're all following a group program. That's what we all signed up for. Is the coach there to be able to see that that person should be doing that exercise and they can change it? Yes, that's why we do all our CPDs in. And if we can have that and have the North Star of just having a fucking really good time and building good relationships, that's success to me.
Brilliant. Brilliant. And I guess through that, through your embodiment of that as a principle, as a value in your gym, the the members now carry the ripples of your wave, right? Um, Jen's always uses Stratford members as an example to the gym owners network in, they uphold our values without us even asking. If a new member comes in and you're busy, they'll go and speak to them, right?
Yeah,
Like as you say, you walk into the gym even when you've not been coaching, perhaps you're coming in around lunchtime and you're
mm,
working like the late or whatever it is. There's that changeover and you just see it all playing out, and it's happening without you even there.
yeah, so cool.
Conversations are taking place. People are going grabbing a bite to eat after. People come and do the social. You know how many people were at the third birthday party?
Yeah,
Um, it's a proper vibe.
yeah.
It's brilliant,
And that's
and it's an
that's honest. I love it. Like it gives me. Don't get me wrong, it's hard work. It's stressful. Hairline's going a wee bit, but that's fine. The hairline's okay. I always take the piss out of Paddy because Paddy's got eye bags and I've got the hairline, so it's a good combo. But like no, like all jokes aside, like I honestly genuinely like love what I do. Like just being able to go to work and that's what I've been saying to like the people on the team, right? And that's what I tell Jens as well and all this. Like I just want people to, yes, come to the gym, the members, but I also want the team members, as in like the staff, to come and just have fun. Like make it a vibe. Like if you as long as you're doing what we asked you to do, and if you said you were going to do something, you do it, then we're all sweet. Like it doesn't have to be that hard. It really isn't. And I think we like to complicate it, going back to like simplicity over complexity. Most coaches like to complicate it, and head coaches like to complicate it because that's where they feel safe. It's like it's really not that hard, you know?
good on you.
Yeah.
Good on you. Well, I think the proof is in the pudding, mate. And I smile. If you're just listening to this and you're not watching the video, I've been smiling for most of my way through this because it's just nice to hear. It's nice to hear Liam talk. I know how passionate he is about this. Um, and I always think when I hear him talk about how he operates and what I'll speak about you just because I'll
Mm.
speak to you
Yeah.
rather than them.
Yeah.
How you do this, how you do lead your coaches and then the members. I always think, fuck, I'd love to work for you as a young coach. What a great person to learn from, right? You mentioned it then. There's a lot of ego in fitness. We know that it goes without being said, but that I think that's where the complexity comes from, especially in the head coach's role. Like we need to do this, we need to do the other, all the rest of it. The question gets asked so much in the gym owners network: what should we be doing in CPD? How do I make my coaches better? All the rest of it. First and foremost, as you're alluding to, you're not necessarily saying because you never would be, you never would because you're too humble. You lead by fucking example, right? But then you set the tone to that point. Everything that you just said there. Imagine being a young coach under your wing. Pressure's removed. It's like, oh shit, we're just here to have a good time. We're going to learn together. We're literally going to learn together. We're going to read the same books and so on and so forth. We're going to get together and have chats. We're going to train together. We're going to eat together. It's the life, man. It's the life, and it's a little bit of what it's a little bit of what I'm trying to recreate with PT Club. The reality is that you're still carrying the flame for it, and it's a rarity. So whether you're aware of that or not, I'll just say that now it is a rarity. I think what you and Pad and the gaffer create in our gyms, Justin's building it over there. But I think that's part of the thing. It's that you're creating a great place for young coaches, and then of course the ripple effect of that is you're creating a great place for your clients and members to learn how to do fitness. So hats off.
Appreciate the kind words.
Ah, well deserved. Let's call it there.
Let's do it.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers, Des.